What if the person you've trusted to brighten your day with kindness and laughter is hiding a much darker reality? Ellen DeGeneres, the beloved daytime talk show host, has long been viewed as a symbol of generosity, compassion, and positivity. But beneath the surface of her carefully crafted image lies a disturbing truth that shook Hollywood to its core. What started as whispers behind closed doors soon erupted into a storm of revelations exposing a toxic environment, manipulation, and cruelty far removed from the persona seen on screen. For nearly 2 decades, Ellen projected an image of warmth and benevolence. Her talk show was a sanctuary of joy where she handed out lavish gifts to guests, made heartfelt donations to charity, and constantly reminded her audience to be kind to one another. This mantra became her show's cornerstone, and for years, millions believed Ellen was the embodiment of this message. But as 2020 unfolded, cracks began to appear in this flawless facade. The first major blow came when comedian Kevin T. Porter took to Twitter, calling Ellen one of the meanest people alive, sparking thousands to share unsettling accounts of her off-camera behavior. Stories poured in of a workplace governed by fear and intimidation rather than kindness. One TV writer revealed that Ellen had such a sensitive sense of smell that staff had to chew gum outside her office to avoid being sent home to shower if deemed offensive. Another disclosed that each day, Ellen allegedly chose someone to target with her ire, telling new employees to just suck it up, because the next day, someone else would bear the brunt. This toxic culture wasn't just an occasional slip, it seemed ingrained. Staff members were pressured to perform antics just to cheer Ellen up when she was in a bad mood, creating a bizarre and unhealthy dynamic between host and crew. The sheer volume and consistency of these stories suggested a pattern of cruelty and manipulation hidden beneath the cheerful surface. The pandemic only deepened the controversy. When lockdowns hit, Ellen's production staff found themselves in limbo, with little to no communication about their pay or employment status for over a month. Rather than keeping her crew informed or absorbing the financial blow personally, Ellen's show was moved to a mansion operated by an external tech company. Producers later informed employees of a steep 60% pay cut despite the show continuing to air. This contrasted starkly with other talk show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel, who reportedly covered their employees' salaries during the crisis from their own pockets. Then came the resurfacing of past interviews where Ellen's supposedly charming banter took a darker tone. Taylor Swift recalled feeling pressured and overwhelmed during an interview when Ellen repeatedly pried into her love life, causing visible distress. Similarly, Ellen's repeated nagging of singer Celine Dion about when she would cut her son's hair felt intrusive and inappropriate, crossing the line between playful and downright rude. Perhaps the most distressing was the revelation involving Mariah Carey. During an interview, Ellen pressured Carey to drink alcohol to reveal if she was pregnant, disregarding Mariah's clear discomfort. Mariah had kept her pregnancy private to avoid the risk of miscarriage, which tragically did happen not long after. This incident exemplified the disregard for personal boundaries Ellen displayed toward some of her guests, pushing for entertainment at the expense of empathy. Outside of celebrity encounters, accounts from lesser-known staff and writers were equally damning. One Emmy-winning writer described Ellen as a nightmare boss who belittled her writers relentlessly, dismissing their work as never good enough. On Reddit and other platforms, former assistants and crew shared stories of misery and emotional abuse, painting a picture of a workplace where fear and unhappiness were the norm. Yet, the darkest chapter unfolded in July 2020 when BuzzFeed published explosive reports based on interviews with dozens of former employees. They described a workplace plagued by racism, fear, and intimidation tactics. A black former employee recounted racist microaggressions, including a senior producer confusing 2 black employees because of their hairstyles, and another writer openly admitting to only remembering the names of white staff. Employees were fired for taking medical leave or for speaking out against the toxic environment. One former worker bluntly stated that Ellen's signature phrase, "be kind," was nothing but a facade that disappeared when the cameras stopped rolling. More troubling still were allegations of rampant sexual misconduct among the show's executive producers. Head writer Kevin Lehman was accused of soliciting sexual favors at a company party and making explicit comments targeting junior staff. Ed Glavin, another producer, reportedly used intimidation and inappropriate physical contact regularly. Jonathan Norman, yet another executive producer, was accused of grooming a young employee before making an unwanted advance. These accusations revealed a culture of abuse and harassment tolerated under Ellen's leadership. Although these executives were eventually fired after Warner Brothers conducted an internal investigation, many believed Ellen bore responsibility as the figurehead of the show. She was forced to publicly apologize at the start of her 18th season, acknowledging the toxic workplace and promising change. Yet, the damage had been done. The fallout was swift and severe. Viewership plummeted from an average of 2.6 million in 2019 to just 1.4 million per episode in the following season. The scandal made it difficult for Ellen to attract top-tier guests or sponsors, and the show's reputation was irreparably damaged. When Ellen announced that her 19th season would be her last, many doubted her claims that the decision was unrelated to the controversy. Even after the show's end, troubling stories continued to emerge. Grayson Trance, a young musician whom Ellen had taken under her wing, publicly described his experience as manipulative and controlling. Initially showering him with gifts and promising a bright future, Ellen's behavior turned authoritarian and demeaning once he began touring. She allegedly micromanaged his life with demanding texts and harsh critiques, publicly berating stylists and others. After his career stalled, she cut off contact entirely, leaving him disillusioned and hurt. What makes all these stories chilling is the stark contrast between the warm, welcoming Ellen the public adored and the harsh, sometimes cruel figure behind closed doors. While there's no denying she has helped many people, the darker side of her personality and leadership has left a trail of broken trust and hurt individuals in its wake. After nearly 20 years of dominating daytime television with an image of kindness and generosity, Ellen DeGeneres' true nature has come under intense scrutiny. How many more silent victims remain? How many smiles were masks hiding pain? The story of Ellen DeGeneres is a stark reminder that sometimes the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows.